My son has been eating more than usual. First I thought it was puberty, but now I think it's cannibalism. I knew it had gotten worse when I found the teeth marks on the raw steak in the fridge. Human teeth marks, small and deliberate, carved into meat that should have been cooked. My 15-year-old son Liam had bitten into it like an apple and put it back. The indentations matched his dental records perfectly, the slightly crooked canine on the left side leaving its signature. I stood there in my kitchen at 2 a.m, holding that violated piece of beef under the fluorescent light, and felt my stomach turn over. This wasn't normal teenage behavior. This wasn't a growth spurt or some weird dietary experiment. The meat was cold, straight from the refrigerator, and the bite marks were fresh enough that saliva still glistened along the edges. I wrapped it in paper towels and threw it in the trash, then immediately pulled it back out and put it in a plastic bag. Evidence of what? I didn't know yet. But some instinct told me I'd need proof of this moment later. Being a single father to a teenage boy was hard enough without mysteries like this. Liam's mother died when he was 8, a car accident that happened so fast I didn't get to say goodbye. For 7 years it had been just us, navigating grief and adolescence together in our small house on Maple Street. I worked as an accountant from home, which meant I was always available when Liam needed me. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our Thursday night pizza tradition. He was a good kid, quiet and studious, the type who preferred reading sci-fi novels to playing sports. His teachers loved him. His few close friends were polite when they came over. Nothing in his life suggested he'd start eating raw meat in secret at night. But the evidence was there in my hand, wrapped in plastic, impossible to deny. I shoved it to the back of the freezer behind frozen vegetables and tried to convince myself I was overreacting. The next morning, Liam came downstairs for breakfast looking perfectly normal. Same shaggy brown hair that needed cutting, same slight frame that hadn't quite filled out yet, same shy smile when I asked how he slept. He poured himself a huge bowl of cereal and added what looked like half a gallon of milk. I watched him eat 3 bowls in rapid succession, barely chewing, shoveling spoonfuls into his mouth with mechanical efficiency. When I mentioned he seemed extra hungry, he shrugged and said he'd been working out more, trying to bulk up for track season. It was a reasonable explanation. Teenage boys did that. But his eyes didn't quite meet mine when he said it, and his hand trembled slightly as he lifted the spoon. After he left for school, I went to his room. I'd always respected his privacy, never snooped without reason, but raw meat with bite marks constituted reason enough. His room was cleaner than usual, which itself felt wrong. Liam was naturally messy, leaving clothes on the floor and books scattered across his desk. Now everything was organized with an almost obsessive precision. I started with his closet, pushing aside hanging shirts and checking pockets. Nothing unusual. His desk drawers held the normal teenage detritus, old assignments and broken pencils and charging cables. Under his bed I found his laptop, which I knew was wrong because he took it to school every day. I opened it, and the screen lit up without requiring a password. Another red flag since Liam was usually paranoid about his privacy. The browser history had been cleared recently,